to Unhindered Soul and the Magic Within. I'm your host, Angela Glagkowski, and today we'll be speaking with Lori Carragher. She is a psychic medium, angel card reader, and she's in the process of learning and mastering other modalities to add to her certifications. So, Lori, it's so nice to see you, and thank you so much for coming on. I can't wait to about this topic with you because I know that you have so many things that you have to offer and words of wisdom. So, I just wanted to ask you to tell a little bit about yourself, and then also I wanted to ask you, like, can you remember the first moment that you realized your own magic or your connection with spirit or your higher soul? Is there like a moment that you were like, wow, you know?
Yes, I just want to say thank you so much, Angela, for inviting me today. This is so special, really. The first time that I had to say was my wow moment was I was taking guided meditation um, classes in my 40s, and someone told me, "Oh, take the classes; it'll help my back pain." I suffered for years with back pain and stuff, so I'm always the type of person I love to learn things, love to try things for the first time, and I just love experiences. So was taking guided meditation and things was just opening up and I didn't really understand what it was. I saw my third eye and I saw chocolate colors and I'm explaining this to my teacher and she was just explaining what it is and she was all excited and I had really no idea what that any of that stuff meant. And so I was just curious. So I kept taking more classes and more classes. And then I saw a movie clip. I saw a picture of this young elementary school age little girl, a picture of her. And I didn't know what it was. It kind of freaked me out a little bit. And she said, "Well, go home and think about it. It will come to you." I'm like, okay. So I thought about it, and I went to my friend's Facebook page, to her sister's Facebook page, to her sister-in-law's Facebook page, and something just told me to look at her photos, and I did. And I'm looking at the photos and I find the picture that I saw in the meditation class, the exact picture. And it was her daughter, and her daughter had committed suicide and died. And I had cut her daughter's hair a couple of times because I worked with her aunt. Her aunt is my boss. And I was shocked. I was really just floored. I didn't even know what it meant. So I told my teacher, and then little by little, I was getting like movie clips, and it was just crazy. So I tabled for a little while because my sister was sick with lung cancer. So that was a few years. Anyway, she was sick, and she unfortunately passed away with lung cancer.
Sorry.
But it was then I really decided I really wanted to know what that was all about, that whole spirit, the afterlife. Because I felt like I had some kind of connections. There are times where I just know things or I can manifest things and things happened. So, and just the fact that, I mean, my sisters and I, we've all been really like in tuned with this sort of thing. Like my oldest sister, she cut Pat Longo's hair. She did all the Longo's hair. She's been so friends with them for years. And so Pat's name's always been in our family, you know, in our group. My sister always talked about Pat. And she would say, "You should go see Pat. You should go see Pat. She'll explain to you everything what's going on with you." So I was thinking about it for the longest time when my sister was ill, but when after she passed away, I said, "You know what? I'm going to go call Pat." And that's what I did. And when I saw Pat, Pat explained to me that she goes, "You're a psychic medium." She goes, "And you're a healer." She goes, "I'm not too sure which way you're going to go with this." She goes, "But I see you doing two things." And so she gave me all this homework to do, and so I did all the homework and stuff. And then, I also knew Angel Eyes Dawn Marie from back in the years of like college days. She was a really good friends of my friend of mine, and we used to hang out. And then I had saw her on Instagram doing her live readings and stuff. So I hooked up with her, and I ended up taking her automatic writing class with her. And because I just,
I loved it.
Pat's classes were great, but I just wanted to know as much as I could at the time. Like I just wanted to suck it all in as much as I could. And so when I took Dawn's classes, it just really exploded because I was able to do all this practice work. You had to do like five, whatever you were doing,
Right,
five
the homework.
homework, five things, a week.
Yeah, 5 readings a week, which
That
really helps, right?
really did help. So I did the
Yeah.
automatic writing class, and that is when it really exploded because I had to do an automatic writing, and my best friend's dad came into my automatic writing
Wow.
the past. And at the time, his wife was in the hospital. Her intestines perforated, and she almost died. And
Oh,
he comes into my reading, in my automatic reading, saying, "You got to tell my wife this message, that it's not her time now." And I heard a song. It was an Elvis song. He goes, "Tell my wife this song, and she'll know what it means." So I'm getting chills just saying this.
me too. I'm getting chills. I'm like, oh my God, this is why we want to do the work, right?
Because this was really my really wow moment of really connecting now, right? I had a little vision, but now I really had the wow connection of connecting with spirit at this moment. So when I did talk to my best friend's mother, and do you know that song, when they were together, when he was alive, he was so romantic. When he heard that song, he would call his wife and put the phone to the radio, the speaker,
Aw,
and she would listen to it, because that back in the day they didn't have
that's
cell
all
phones.
you had, right?
They had, right? And that was their song that he would,
Ah, so
I
she
had no
knew,
idea. I had no idea.
right?
And I was like, oh my God, like how would I know that? You know what I mean? I know lots of things, but I don't know all this stuff, right? And
Right.
that was the whole wow moment because I couldn't believe it.
So then it like confirmed everything. Like you knew you had experiences, but that really confirmed, right? Like it's real. Like this is really happening. This is really
It
what I
did.
can do.
And I was able to give her peace because she really almost died in the hospital. And after he had died, and still to this day, she misses him every single day. There's not a day that or a minute that goes by. I mean, they were just two amazing. They were just amazing, a couple that they loved so much. That love, like they were just soulmates,
Yeah.
And there's not
Yeah.
that many people that have that kind of relationship that you can say, oh my God, they had this beautiful relationship with each other. So whatever was able to help her with, her to give her a message of peace or hope or something at that moment, was just, I was grateful that I was able to do that.
Wow. That's beautiful. And that's the point. Like, because I read my best one of my I've read both of them, but one especially. I was surprised that she was so open to it too. I was like, wow, I didn't think she was gonna, I thought she was gonna be like, what do you mean you do, things. But she, it doesn't matter how well you know somebody, this you don't know everything. There's things that you possibly could not have known. You could have known that. You
You
didn't know
did.
that. Like I'm sure you knew a lot about the family, but you didn't know that.
Mm.
So that just goes to, to prove to you and, to other people, like this is real. And when that starts happening, it changes everything. I love that story. I didn't know. And that's why I love doing this because just hearing people's stories and how they experience things and we're all different and unique. And it's just such a beautiful thing. And I feel like it really helps other people. So that's what the purpose of this really is. Um, so so now you figured that out. And so how did it change your life? How did that knowledge change your life that you have this connection? You're able to do these readings. You're able to help people, which is really what it's all about. And that's everything.
Yeah, well, like during the time, it helped me a lot because during that time I was grieving my sister, and I was one of her caretakers. I was one of four, sisters, so there was four of us, and um, it was tough. My parents at the time lived in Florida, and they would come back and forth, and then my three other siblings, we would take turns and help take care of my sister, Patty. She was a single mother. Her daughter was in her 20s, who lived on her own. So my sister really basically lived on her own. So my sisters and I, we would take turns, and along with her best friend, and we helped take care of her. So that's why when I said I had to take things on a, put things on a shelf for a while, because it really had to just focus on her. So after she had passed away, it was really difficult because when you take care of someone who's sick for a while and you're really taking care of them, it's really hard to after that, after they pass, you go through a lot. Um, you know, I've never experienced anything like that before. And it really just felt like your arm is cut off, losing a sibling. It's just very hard to describe, but I mean, I think that's pretty the closest thing I could describe it. But being there when she passed too, there was just so much. So after that, there's a lot of different feelings that you're feeling after you're grieving, and why you're grieving. And I really felt like able to connect with her and help other people just help me comfort my own grief. I was able to it just helped me feel better that I was able to communicate with her and give messages at times to the family. But it also helped a lot of my anxiety that I had. I didn't realize how much anxiety I had until after I was going through this process that I saw how much it really calmed me down, grounded me more. I wouldn't say my anxiety was off the charts, but I would say I definitely had some anxiety. And but now that I've gone through my journey of working on my own stuff, I've seen that when I have, let's say, we as humans, we go through times, maybe we'll get in an argument with somebody, or maybe we're getting upset, right? We would react a certain way. I I find myself now, I react differently now. I'm more calmer. Doesn't mean I'm not always human. Sometimes you might react a little bit similar, but it's not the way it was before. It's more controlled. You can pause better. You can think about things. You could not overreact easily to things. Just feel more grounded and then more at peace. And you're really, it's like, I just want to be a better person. It makes you want to be a better person all the time because, or for the most time, because you want to help people.
Right. And then for me too, I can understand that. It's like you want more that you grow and the more that you learn, it feels so great when you kind of let go of all these things that you kind of understand a lot more too. So then when you start letting go of all these things that are holding us down, like keeping us in that space of and joy. And when you're in that space, it feels great and you just want more of it. And then we become a clearer channel because we're able to be more open and when we read, we have our ego in there. And so it's just like a domino effect. And then when, see it show up that way
It's true
in
because
yourself and in others.
it's true because they say that you want to connect to spirit, you have to be in a high vibe, right?
Right.
Not in a high vibe, it's going to be harder to connect. So if you're in that low vibration, it's going to be harder to connect because you're on that lower vibration. You have to try to stay in that higher vibe. So if things are affecting you, or we're human, things happen, right? We're not going to be able to connect. But if you want to be able to connect and you feel good, you might have to give somebody important message. It's just knowing that you can connect and help somebody. You want to be able, it almost feels like you're on call, like
Yeah.
24/7 in a way, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's important that you can, right? So you got to take those things. To me, I'm starting to take them more seriously. Like it's like you want to be professional. Like I'm only going to read when I'm a high vibe, right? If you're upset or don't feel well, that's not a good time to read. You know, there's just important things. You don't read if you're drinking. You can't do that. I mean, there's
No, you should not read if you're drinking.
not right. And I find even more now. I find myself I don't even drink that much
I
anymore.
don't drink at all. I can't. I'm terrible. I never could handle it. I always used to have one or two drinks
I
when I
was
was
a
younger,
social,
but that's it.
I was a social drinker once in a while, but now I don't even really
You
drink
want
anymore
it.
because I don't really care about it. I'd rather not. I'd rather just be in that higher vibe.
Because you get the high from just being in that state.
Yeah.
And it's so true. I feel like for us, it's our job is to become the most clearest channel that we can be. And I, and because it's spirit coming through, it's not us giving the messages, we're the translator. So if we're in that high vibe, we're able to, that be a clear channel and it just I don't know. It's just like I said, once you start letting go of these things, you wanna do more work and understand more, and you're growing, and it's just like a dumb. It just keep going because it just feels so great. And the more that you learn, and the more you can offer people, it's always nice to have these different things, these different modalities that you add to your toolbox. And I know you've been doing that. We all kind of take classes and we all learn and grow. And but I know for you, you've been doing these great things, and we'll talk a little bit more about it later. But so you started running the psychic circles and things at restaurants, and it's great because it's important. This way, more people have the availability; they're able to access or go to these things, and they're reasonable and nice, and it's something different. Especially the psychic circles are great; they're amazing. So yeah, so okay, so that changed your life, and I was just wondering how it changed others around you, like your family and friends. Like, have you noticed that family or your friends have kind of become more spiritual or understood more about this or had more faith?
Yeah, I would say, first of all, I have amazing support from my family, which when I first told them that they was doing all this, I didn't really tell anybody what I was doing because it was just helping my grieving time, right? But then I'm like, all right, it's time to let them know what I'm doing. So I told my husband and then my children, and I was a little nervous, and they were wonderful. They were so supportive, and they said, they said if it's helping your grief, you're grieving, then that's the most important thing. And if you can help somebody, that's great. So I was shocked because I didn't think they were going to react that way. I thought they were
Yeah.
crazy, right?
Yep.
I had it's and to this day it's great. And then I told the rest of my family, and they are so happy that I had this gift, and they're so supportive, and it's just amazing. So and then when I told my friends, they were surprised, and little by little as I would, talk or reading them a little bit, and then they got to see little by little, how I'm helping people, and they're very supportive. I mean, there's some people that, they're a little weary, and that's okay. I mean, I don't like to push it on anybody. I feel like when they're ready, they'll
Right.
they'll come around, and I find that, like, like, of course it's a shocker, like somebody you know for a long time. What do you mean you're a psychic medium?
Like out of nowhere, you're like, really?
I know. Like all of a sudden I'm, whatever. And I'm like, yeah, like, surprise. But but I mean, they have to digest it, I mean,
Yeah.
and obviously they see that I'm still doing it. It's been a few years now, and I'm still doing it, and I'm doing other events, and they're going well, and I'm doing more events. And and every once in a while, something comes up in a group, and they get a little shocker. Like, I think it can get a little scared maybe because they don't really know it, but
I don't understand it.
like I said, I don't really like trying to push it. If they want a reading, they just have to ask. I'm always here to help them. I don't mind. I always love helping people.
Yeah.
So, and you know what? It's not for everybody, and that's okay.
No, it's not exactly. Not everybody's ready for this, and that's totally fine. And you also do like I know we do together a lot of fundraisers and things, which is amazing. You give back, and when people see that, they're like, okay, it's not bad. Like, because I think
Yeah.
a lot of religious upbringing, like it's taboo. Like, oh no, you should have readings, and so for them, it's I think that may stick in their head. I mean, like not your. I'm just saying in general, people. I think that for them, it's like, oh, what are they doing? But then when they see, like, oh, you know, they're doing fundraisers, they're doing, good things. Like it's not, you know, it's just like the whole witches thing way back, like, oh, they're a witch, and no, it's not like that. It's
Yeah, we're always,
giving messages.
and I say to people, I say, I never tell them anything, dark or anything. That's not what we're about.
Right? We don't ask for that. We don't ask for death unless it can be prevented. You
Yeah,
know, um, it's that's really what it's. You know, that's
yeah,
the difference. There are people out there that are like that, and
right,
you have to be careful, of course, of who they go to because there are people that will prey on other people like that.
right,
And tell them they have something attached to them, and then, this whole thing, and it's not good.
right. But I think it's important.
Want
Like,
money,
I think it's important, like, who's your teacher, who's your mentor, and if you think
right?
about the people that we've worked with, who's been our teacher and mentors, they had very high integrity. You know,
Yeah,
it was taught us to be very professional, which is very important. A lot of people don't realize, yes, there's classes, there's a lot of stuff to learn. You just don't wake up. I mean, some people wake up and say, yeah, I'm a psychic, I have these abilities. Yes. Some people step into them later on in life and they don't understand what they are. And then they take classes to understand it or control it so that way they can protect themselves, right?
Yeah,
And
right.
and some people, not everybody wants to do readings.
No,
They hear spirit and they don't want to hear spirit. Maybe they don't want to hear it all 24/7. So to
right.
learn about it and how to control it or how to get more,
That's it too.
how to understand the language of spirit. And so, and then also just taking classes help you to just work on your own healing, what you need to do so you can grow,
Exactly.
so we can hold more light, right? So I think it's just like any kind of job, but you learn about the job, you learn about being professional about it, about the integrity, how to learn and keep growing. It's all very important.
Yeah. It's funny, you just said hold more light. And what I saw was, because it's true, when you make space and you let go of all the things that don't serve you, you open up a space for the light. So you
Yeah,
can hold more light. And, as I don't know about you, but for me, as I'm doing more of this work, I find that people, come to me more even, because I mean, people that don't even know I do this, but I feel like a lot of people come to me more. So it's almost like, they're being sent. And I always leave it open, like, please, I always ask my guides and angels, like, send whoever that, I can help. So that that's the purpose of it. So it is, like you said, with classes, it's not about learning how to become a psychic medium. I know for me, I had experiences when I was younger, but over the years, I look back, I'm sure you definitely would find that you've had experiences you just didn't connect it because you're like, oh, all right, it's just, I sometimes people, you, it's like, oh yeah, I just happen to be right, or I knew that was going to happen, but a lot of people do. Like I said, we all have intuition, but not everybody's meant to do readings or use it. Like you said, some people don't want to. They might have the gift, that gift or ability. They don't want to use it that way, and that's fine. That's their choice. It's free will. Maybe they're just going to use it to their own healing, and then that's fine also. And sometimes people use it and not even realizing they're using it. I mean, there's teachers, there's people that do work and they're using it every day, and they're not connecting that that's part of what reading would be, or healing or counseling. That's all part of this. I was going to say something else, and my mind,
the
but
good thing is that when I told my other job, my day job, I'm a hairdresser too, so that's my first job. Um, so when I told them that I was a psychic medium, was taking these classes, and they were like, again, everybody's like, what, So then,
yeah,
so I'll tell them about my journey as I go along, and they're very supportive, and I'm not going to just. I had nothing to prove, right? It's again, it's
no,
not about the ego, and I said, well, I know God is testing me. I know I have these people that probably think I'm crazy and they're going to say whatever they want about me. I don't really care. I know I'm doing something to help people, right?
right,
So I said whatever I'm supposed to be the channel, right, to help people hear from spirit, help from their loved ones so they can get a healing message, so they can get past some trauma or something, just to help them, right? From spirit who they love from. So one day at work, and I remember we were practicing, and I said I always wondered, like, all right, I'm at work, I'm doing hair, and I'm like, I wonder if I can read while I'm cutting hair because it's a lot. When you're reading, right, you have to be in such a zone, right? So when you're learning, it's kind of hard to see if you can do two things at the same time,
yeah,
right?
because you're concentrating on the hair, and when
And it's
yeah,
like, right. So anyway, I'm at work, and then a lady comes in, and all of a sudden I heard, one of my stronger points is when I heard a name, and one of my coworkers' client came in. I heard the name, so I go up to my coworker and I said, so and so, I don't know if she's open to it, but did she have so and so, with her husband passed? What's his name? Blah blah blah. Because I just heard a name and I was feeling it, and I was starting to feel the pull, like Pat would say, you feel the pull where you're being drawn to. So
Yeah.
I said, I think spirit was trying to teach me at that time that I can do two things at the same time, cut
Yeah.
hair and give messages, right? Because as you're growing as a medium, they're making you, as you go into the next level, they're teaching you something so you go on to the next level, right?
Stretching. Yeah, they're making you stretch to, yeah, I know.
Stretch that muscle. So she goes, oh, you can ask her. She loves this stuff. And I was a little nervous because I'm like, I don't normally do this, but
Yeah.
I heard it and I said, so there's a reason for this, right? And I felt so good that my coworkers were very supportive because, I didn't really talk a lot about it, but I was just heard it. It was organically, I heard it, and I said, it must be for a reason.
Yes.
She said I can approach her. So I asked her, and it was her husband's name who I heard. And actually, and then it was her husband's father. He never knew his real father, and he had passed and found out that he had a real father, like he was adopted or something like that, and he had found
Oh.
out or something. But this woman always wanted to know if her husband is with his real father now in heaven.
Ah,
So I heard the real father's name and then her husband's name. She felt so good about it because now I knew that just what the message was basically saying that they were together, and
yeah, that's the
she was so,
confirmation.
yeah. So it was like so organically. I was in the zone, and my coworkers were like, they saw a side of me that they never saw before, because when you're reading, all of a sudden you get in a zone. It's like you're not even talking like yourself. You're talking completely different,
Yeah.
right? And saying things you don't even know because you're just in the zone, right?
Yeah,
And
how would you know that? And yeah, you're focusing on that. You're not,
right. And I was just so happy that I was able to give her the message. And it kind of taught me also that listen, when there's a message to be given, it'll come out for a reason. It'll come out organically strong because that person really needed to know that. That's what
yeah,
she needed to know for years, that they were together. And it made her so happy because it was like she made her day, and I was so happy I was able to help her. And it kept my confidence because I was able to know that, hey, I can cut hair, I'm at my work job, and this is happening. And I just felt good, and I felt good that I felt supported by my coworkers, which was so nice.
that's a big deal. It really is important when you have people around you that understand. My husband teases me and he'll go, "Oh, let me see what I'm getting." He still does that to me, but I know he knows that it's more than just that.
Because like you said, like in the beginning, they were like, I don't know about that. Then all of a sudden, it happened organically. They were able to see it, like you said, organically.
Right. Like you couldn't have possibly known that. And
Right.
then
And
they saw that.
they felt very comfortable, and they were able to support something now that I really feel so I have so much passion in there about it. It's just I want to help people and just help them.
That's what you
Like,
meant to do. And it feels good when you're doing something that you meant to do.
and
Sure.
now I just felt comfortable that now I can just really become who I really am.
And not right. Exactly. You could be you could do your hair, be a hairdresser and do that. And that's all part of you. You
Right,
know,
because I felt like I have changed so much since I've started this journey. So like my old person, who it was, it's just different. As time we grow, right? We have self-growth from
yeah.
experiences that we've gone through in life and things that we've learned, right? And then it's good to grow as we get older, right? It's not good to just remain the same, you know.
Yeah. Just because you
And
turn a certain age doesn't mean you stop growing.
right.
So much more. I mean, always learning and growing.
Right. So I just felt like, all right, I just felt it was good to be supported. And it was just, it just felt good. I can just be who I want to be, really.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah. And it's nice not to have to feel like you have to hide that part of yourself that people know. And I did the same thing where I kind of at first I needed to understand myself what I was doing and trust it myself because it's so easy to get, like have just one person say something and then you're like, oh, maybe I should, like it's just not good. So you need to like focus on, you know, what it means to you and understand it and then I found myself starting to like tell, my obviously my husband and my kids knew, but my mom, my friends, my brother, and I just gradually kind of like put it out there, and now it's on Facebook, so people that I didn't expect to like look at my, posts about anything to do with psychic mediumship are looking at it. So, you know, it's all good. So I was gonna ask you, how does this show up in the work that you do and then transition to people that come to you, like clients? So you did touch on it a little bit, but you can see the results, right? I mean, when people come to you in your meetings,
I
it
did,
does.
yeah. I have to say it was so funny. At my hairdressing job, I had a client of mine, and she was going through a tough time with her father. I was giving her highlights, and so she was with me for a few hours at the salon. And that's being an empath, you can feel people's feelings, right?
Oh
So
yeah,
again,
I never realized it.
yeah. So Spirit showed up again at the hair salon.
Oh wow.
It was her grandfather who came in, and he gave her, I have to say, I gave her a reading during her highlights. Again, Spirit was showing me, hey, you can do this at the same time. So you could chew gum and walk at the same time, right?
Exactly, right.
But it felt good. I gave her a really good healing message that she really needed, was about, her grandfather was like her dad in a sense. She was closer to her grandfather than her own father, but he was basically telling her that she needed to work on her relationship with her real father, and she was going through something. So her grandfather came in trying to explain how much he was proud of her, and all the things that she's gone through. And um I was so happy I was able to do that for her, and it was like crazy because I don't know if you've ever been at the hair salon. You get in color and then highlights. It's like it was almost like you get a couple of little message, check the color, and you leave. You come back, oh, and he told me this, and it was like bits and
By the
pieces.
way, you told me that too. Yeah, and then because you're going back and forth, right?
And he was with me for like so long. It was so funny, but he had a very important message for her, and
That was an important message. Yeah.
it really did help her because she comes in the salon now, and things are so much better now between her and her dad. So what her grandfather had to tell her, she really listened because she was really hurting, and she just needed something at that time. And I was that, I don't know, the conduit or that person in between. I was
With
able
the
to,
translator.
yeah. And he came in to tell me what he needed to talk to his granddaughter about to help her, and it did. It made a big. It helped her a lot. Her relationship now with her dad is so much better, and she looks so much happier now, which is great. You know, so I was glad I was able to do that. But by helping people, or just like in a if you can help them with their anxiety or something, I've seen
Yeah, it could be
people.
anything. It's such a broad. I mean, it could be anything that they need. So it could be their health. Sometimes you receive things about their health, or like, oh, you might want to check whatever. So it's more of like preventative instead of it being like scary. I always say, you're seeing that, just go, get it checked because it's something that you may want to look at. But
Yeah.
it could be that. It could be, like you said, healing with a family member or whatever it is. It always seems to. I don't know. I feel like it amazes me as much as them sometimes because I never not want to be amazed because that is really what it's about. When you start just taking it for granted, then that's your ego, and you don't want that. So
Mhm.
I find that it's just I love it.
Yeah, it's great because you can see that you're helping us. You actually are helping someone, and that's the most important thing. You know, I mean, it's not always about person asking for a reading, and it's not about the money. A lot of
No,
times, I've given a lot of free readings,
me
just
too.
because you
You
just
have to have balance, though, and I've learned that because I would want to do all of them free, and you can't do that either because energy exchanges, and you have to
abs-
honor yourself also. But
absolutely,
yeah, it's more for your time, not for the actual reading.
absolutely, yes,
Yeah, it is wonderful. And there's always that reading that sticks out in your head, like the one that's impacts you as much as it impacts, like it's just never forget it. And is there like a reading like that that impacted you that you just, I mean, obviously there are so many readings that you won't forget. Some of them you do. Some of them you're like, oh, I said that. I don't remember that, because they come back and they'll confirm, which is nice. Get the confirmation because you have messages you don't know if you never see them again. You don't know.
Oh yeah, because you're in such a zone sometimes you don't even know what you said
Yeah,
or
right. Exactly. You're just, giving the messages and you're like, I don't remember saying that, but say so,
I think a lot of times when we have a reading that's a wow reading or something, you're like, wow, I can't believe it's because even though you have this gift and each time or whatever, you surprise yourself, right? You
Yeah,
still can't believe you have been blessed with this gift to help
yeah,
people,
exactly.
and every once in a while that fear might come in like, oh, I'm afraid to say this or I'm afraid I'm gonna be wrong or but then you just have to let that go out of the window and just say, you know what? I get rid of that fear, bring in the light, connect with God. You have this gift for a reason, and its reason is
And
to
they're sending the messages for a reason. So, but that's the point of the whole class of the classes too, is to understand what you're seeing and know that it's not your job to understand it. Job is just to give the message and then the person's got to understand that. So, and I've learned to be a little more because sometimes I may think a message would say I see a coin and I'm like, well, I see a coin. Did he collect coins? But it could be something that he just carried a lucky coin on him, the person, or it could be that that person sees coins all the time and that reminds them of. So it has to really be their meaning. I've learned to say, well, it could mean this, this, and that, because for me, this is what I'm seeing, but it could mean, for you. But
yes,
I am seeing this point, and it's important, so we need to know what that is, and
absolutely.
also to expand on it. Because sometimes you're like, oh, I see a coin. Okay, you saw a coin. That's great. What is that? So you need to expand on it. So I know that the classes have taught us to say, well, ask your guides more questions. And I forget to do that sometimes. So I just want to hear what they're going to say. I'm always like, well,
Listening.
yeah, I always like to at the beginning of my readings, I like to always say, this is what I'm receiving because I'll kind of write something down and tell them. But then I like to say I want to see what they're going to say first, and then I can ask questions because I feel like sometimes there's something important and I don't want to ask a question and throw it off so that what needs to come in may not come in correctly. So I let them and I'm like, okay, what are you saying? I'm riveted, so exciting. I just I just find it so exciting and so amazing. And I think that when your intention in that is for their highest good, and that's what we do. That's what we're taught. And like you said, we've teachers that have very high integrity, and that's what we want. And so there's always those people out there that aren't doing that. That's like I said, something you have to be careful of.
Mhm.
But what is that one reading for you? Is there that one reading that blows your mind, like, oh my gosh, or it was just the most amazing feeling for you, or is there anything particular, or
Oh God, I had to say that one reading at the salon I did with that woman that needed to heard from her grandfather because he spoke to me in Spanish and I never took Spanish.
I love it, and you understood it, right?
I heard the word and I think I had said I heard he or something like that. And she said that means father in Spanish. He was Colombian or something. And
Oh my
what I said it meant father and in Spanish. And I never took Spanish, so it was like, oh my God. And then there was another word in Spanish that he had said, and I was floored because it was so freaky. Because like I said, I never took Spanish. So sometimes spirit here is talking, you can hear it.
yeah,
It's amazing what you can hear, or you can hear sometimes I've gotten like nicknames,
yeah,
and it's so wild. But the Spanish, I got the Spanish thing that came to me twice, and that just blew me away because, like I said, I never took Spanish, so you can hear in another language. I just
yeah.
repeated what I heard.
Right, you're just repeating what you heard. Right. Or sometimes you just know what it means, and so it could be anything. And
Yeah.
I love when they give songs, like you said, songs like I'm terrible with titles and I only know one or two sentences of a song. I never know the words. So I think it's funny when they give it to me because then I know it. I realize I'm like, wait, they're giving to me because it's proving. Like I have to look up the song find who sings it, and then I'm like, oh, that's the one. And then those send
Yeah, usually the word
out.
means something. Yeah. Yeah, or they sometimes they come to me like because I know I'm a hairdresser. They come to me and like I'll see what they look like or their outfit. I just kind of know their personality. It's just like I said, any kind of validations I've gotten, it's been sometimes it just blows you away. But I think it's important with the person's energy who you are reading. Sometimes you can get a dud, right? It's not coming in too clear. Maybe their energy isn't as high, or maybe their expectations are too much, or maybe
Non-believers,
maybe
maybe
you're
they
going
just,
through something yourself that day and you're not as grounded. That's why I've learned that being very high vibe when I do a reading is really important now. So I
yeah.
make sure that when I do a reading, I have to be in a really high vibe.
It's funny. During one of Dawn's, like, I was taking her class, and I remember I had like the worst day. I was crying at work. Like, it was just like one of those days. Like, I was crying, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have homework later. I have to read someone.
Mm.
And I'm thinking, how am I going to do this? How am I going to read this person? And I somehow, I did a meditation beforehand, and I said my prayers, and I started to read, and I couldn't. It was actually the best reading, and because I was able to pull myself, and I'm like, it's not about me, it's about her and her messages. So I literally was able to pull myself out of that, and it made me actually feel better
It
because
does. It
I was, I'm sorry.
does make you feel better when you have to ground. It's actually when you're upset, we forget our tools, right? Our toolbox, right? Sometimes
Right,
our toolbox. So we're just like having a human day, and maybe you're upset about things, right? Probably the best thing to do when you are upset is to sit there and go ground and go meditate and release
right,
all that stuff and bring you back into that neutral, that higher vibe instead of being so
higher
low.
vibe.
We're in that low vibe, we're going to think of negative thoughts. We're going to be insecure. We're going to think of all these other negative things, which is not really good, right?
No,
So if we
and that's what it was. I was able to pull, and when you're in that space, you feel better. And I know that when I do a reading and I feel the love coming through from loved ones, it's just an amazing feeling. And we're only feeling a dot, like a speck of what love really is, and it's. I don't think we can even imagine what the love is that would be on. I'm going to say the other side, but it's not really the other side. But yeah, it's just amazing, and um, I know for me, I'm grateful, and I feel like you're the same way, and that's why we connect, right? I mean, we understand each other, we know, and I love doing what I love working with you. I think it's wonderful, and you and the other ladies that we all work with, and we kind of have that nice we all have that same intention. That's really important.
yeah, yeah,
So
I agree with you too. I mean, it's a great experience, and I'm so glad I was get to able to know you a little bit better, which is great.
oh yeah, I mean, it was just funny how we kind of got on the phone, and I'm like, you asked me if I want to do something with you, and I asked you if you want to do something with me. We're like, oh, okay. It felt right, it just felt right. And of course, Dawn Marie and all the wonderful people that we have connections with and mutual connections with. Well, I'm excited for you. I know you're going to be doing the psychic circle at the Eyes of Learning, and I'm going to be there.
Oh,
And Dawn and Lillian, it's going to be amazing. And we have things coming up that you're going to be doing. You're having the restaurant meetings that
yes, yeah, we're going to be doing a psychic night at a restaurant called Garden Grill, Smithtown, and it's going to be great. I mean, they gave me two dates, which I'm really excited for. I just felt like, like I wanted to get into put on an event. I felt like our community, our circle, right? We're not really doing so many of those restaurants, and I thought maybe it might be nice that we get in to do a restaurant, kind of just like getting involved and just getting doing other things, trying to help everybody get involved so they can see just see what everybody's about, right? um
right,
I thought it might be just would be fun. It's hard with you know with Pat's passing that we haven't really been connected together. Like she really kind of kept us together, you know.
Yeah.
She had a very large community, which was so nice that made a lot of us just be friends with each other and connections and stuff. And you know, it's just feels like something is missing, you know. And so I said, you know, it would be nice to just kind of get out there and just communicate with more of our community, you know.
Yeah.
Everybody has a community and it's just nice just to keep that going, you know. And
Important to have that community because we're all learning and growing and we all do different things and we all collaborate with each other. And I feel like, one person like you might do something and then you're like, oh, try this and let's do this. And then that helps that other person learn and grow. And it's just great to have a community because you need that support and, trust and faith because it is sometimes, um, it's so easy if you get one person that doesn't, like you said, like they're just not, maybe they're not answering, maybe they don't believe and it's just brings you like doubt, and you always want to keep that faith and keep that trust and know that everything is correct and true and all of that. And it's great. It's great to have this community. And now you're also running the psychic circle at the Long Island Healing Arts and Learning Center, which is so much fun. I
yeah,
mean, sitting in the audience and having, two people, well, four people really come in and do readings each half an hour each. And there's that fourth chances of being read, which everybody has been read pretty much. And sometimes they're read more than once. And it's like everybody's different the way they read the information that's coming in. And it's just so much fun. And then being on the other side of it and being the reader, and it is so much fun to do that because you're getting reading two rooms a half an hour each, and it's just amazing. So
yeah.
a lot of fun.
I thought that would be a good way to everybody can just practice in gallery style reading, build up their confidence, right? There's two rooms at the Long Island Healing Arts Center. So you always, with four mediums, you have, one medium in each room, and then you have one medium on deck to go into the room. And
Right.
each medium reads for 30 minutes. And I have one person in each room who's a medium also, and they just kind of observe a little bit. And afterwards, we go out to the diner and then we talk about our night. And
It's so
it's
much fun.
constructive criticism about how
Yep.
we can just, you know, just see how they took it as if they were just like a regular person in the room, right? How was the night? And it's just to really help each person grow and learn and just kind of push yourself a little bit. Maybe that medium, like, listen, I've had mediums that are excellent, right? But they get in front of people and they get nervous.
Right.
But now they feel very comfortable in this setting. At that place is, first of all, Long Island Healing Arts Center is a great,
Oh,
it's a beautiful,
best vibe, the best energy ever. Because
they're
all those
great.
crystals and
Laura and Terry who run
oh,
it. It's just great. I mean,
I
if you
love
haven't
them.
been there yet, you should definitely go. They got beautiful classes, they got great crystals, but just to have an event there is just really wonderful. And
And they do Zooms too, I think sometimes. So if there's somebody that's watching this that is not in the New York area, then
I think so, yeah.
them.
But I mean, but anyway, so far we had two events there, and they both were sold out. And they went very well, and we've had repeated people who came to the first one come to the second one. They really enjoyed it. So we're having the third one on September 11th,
7. Yep.
and I'm excited because I keep switching the mediums.
Yep.
I'd like to do that. The mediums do two in a row, get two in, and then we kind of rotate people. And
Right. And this way people have different experiences if they come more than once.
right, so if
So
they
I'm
do
excited to do the
they
September 11th one.
do the first one, they kind of know, like, all right, next time I want to work on this approach or something like that, right? So then they do the next one, which is shortly after. Because I want to work on this again, and it kind of just builds up their confidence and their
And
experience.
their experience. Yep.
Everybody's meeting people because then you'll have some people that will come to these events that are mediums or healers or stuff, and they say, I really like the way you read. I'm doing an event. Can you do the event with me? And that's a great way. They're networking. They're making friends, and it's really about making friends with good energy.
Yes. Yes. You want it to be a great connection and a nice circle of people. And you soul group. I feel like we're all soul group. I mean,
'Cause I mean, like, listen, in the regular job that you have, right? You can have work with, you can be at a job for like 20 years, whatever, right? You can make that great connection and they become your family. Sometimes you were at a job, energy's not so good there, right? Right. So that's with anything that you do, right?
right,
So I wanted something that can bring people together, really bring people together and in a good, like good energy, good vibe. And people are making connections and they're making friendships, right?
I
They're,
love it.
and they're learning from each other. You can always learn something new all every day in anything you do. You could be doing something 30 years and you can still learn something from somebody else who has a style, or maybe learn something from a different person and say, that's a different approach. I never tried that. Let me try that. And then you're like, wow, that's a great approach, or this really worked out great. I don't know why I never thought of that. So
Right.
just learn something new. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Like Dawn Marie says, like we're all teachers and we're all students. And I love that.
yeah, it's so true. So I'm just happy that I was able to do that. I mean, I knew the Eyes of Learning did Psychic Circle, but they didn't really have them as often as I wanted to, and I had talked to them a while. I wanted to be a part of it, but they said at the time they were booked. So I said, you know what? I said, I'm going to go to Long Island Healing Arts Center. They didn't have a psychic circle there. I said, maybe they might be interested. They have the Reiki circle. Maybe they'll have a psychic circle. So I told them about it, and they're like, yeah, go ahead, put it together. I'm like, I was
They
so,
love it.
so I was kind of like, I was just bringing it to like, hey, you guys want to do this? And they're like, go ahead, put it together. So I was like, oh, okay.
The spirit pushes you to where you're supposed to be, right? Like they put you in these situations. And that's just like I did the psychic circle with the Eyes of Learning, and I'm like, I didn't know what it was going to be like, and when I did it, I'm like, okay, I could do this, I guess, because I
Exactly.
didn't, I never, I wouldn't have done it if I knew it really was at first, because it was scary. But spirit puts you where you need to be, and it's very exciting, and I love all of this, and I'm so grateful for the people that I've met, and I'm grateful for that you came on and shared your story, because I really feel like so many people are going to relate to this and understand their own magic. And that's really what it is. We all have magic, right? We all have magic. We all have something that nobody else has. Well, and whether you connect with readings like we do or not, it doesn't matter. It's just that discovering that own thing connects you to spirit
Well,
and or whatever you want to call it, God.
when you
But
said that, it reminds me of what I was able to be part of Pat's last workshop. And
wow,
she said, everyone reads differently. Everybody's unique differently.
yeah,
No one's not supposed to read like you.
no,
You're supposed your ego is supposed to be left at the door, and you are supposed to be who you are. Don't ever compare yourself to this one or that one. So, you know what? That made me really understand and feel safe when she said that,
yeah,
because it's really true. Because when you're reading in the beginning, you can be worried about, like, am I reading the right way? And you're not supposed to compare yourself.
no.
When you are who you are supposed to be, you are reading the way your style is the way your style is. So when I started the psychic circle, I said to people, you read whatever way you want to read. You want to use cards, you
Some
want
people use cards, right? Some people
whatever
don't.
you want to do, whatever you're working on, you read the way you want to read. It's your time.
And that's what makes it so much fun. That was what made it so much fun. You had one person walking in the room, like, and their energy was and it was just like you laughed. Then another person walks in, they were like a little more serious, but like messages that came through were different too. And then another person walked in, and it was like they did cards. It was just like that was what was so special about it, because you had something different from each person, and you really understood that, and we understood that too as readers, and it's just great.
And
So
it takes time to accept that, because
oh yes, it does, because you always want to be like, oh, I want to fit in, I want to be like everybody else.
everybody has ego. There's good ego, there's bad ego, right? But just to accept that, okay, I'm okay. I'm okay reading the way I'm reading.
Yeah, I mean, you could, if somebody gets more names, you could be like, well, I would love to have more names. You speak to your spirit guide, send me more names, please. Like, there's always things to work on, but it doesn't just how you do it. You know, it's just it's all good, and we're going to learn and grow as we go along, and we're gonna change things. Or I noticed that I receive things differently. It's more of knowing because it's seeing. So it was always seeing first, and hearing like all the different clairs, but there's always ones that are a little stronger. But now it's more like knowing. Like I'll see one thing and then I'll see more, but I'll feel it more, or I'll just know. Or then you start asking, like, okay, well, how did you pass? And then give me something that that person's going to understand that nobody else knows. You could ask that, or maybe it comes in without you asking. It just depends. So I just love it, and I am so grateful that you came on. Thank you so much
Thank you so much. I
for
really enjoyed it. Thank you so much. It was great.
yeah, it's so much fun, and it's just cool to share your story. I love hearing all the different stories. It always fascinates me. It always did, and hearing your story and things that I didn't know because I could speak to you and know you, however I know you, and then there's always more, right? So thank you so much for coming on, Lori. Look out for Lori. There's going to be more things to come. We're going to post your links and all of that so that they can contact you if needed. And so much.
Thank you so much again.
All right. Have a good night.
You too. Thank you.